time to give the people what they want. It's Jalen and Jacoby.
He is Jalen Anthony Rose.
What up, though?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
Together, we are Jalen Jacoby on ESPN2. What do we do?
We get the people what they want.
Wednesday night, the Rockets dominated the Hornets for their 11th straight victory. Chris Paul was especially good. He scored 31 points, went 10 for 18 from the floor, and added 11 assists. But it was his defense that was really good. He held Kemba Walker to 13 points on 5 for 15 shooting. The Rockets are now first in the league in offensive efficiency, but also fifth in the league in defensive efficiency. Jalen, is the secret to the Rockets' success actually their defense this year?
The secret to the Rockets' success starts on the offensive end, and a philosophy that was championed by their general manager, Daryl Morey, and he never wavered in any way, shape, or form about building a team that can make threes at an astronomical, historic rate. Then you go and hire Mike D'Antoni, who implemented that system in Phoenix, and now it's on steroids in Houston when you have an MVP candidate in James Harden that can get you 30-plus points and lead the league in total buckets, but also lead the league in assists. Not many players are that level special to be able to do that. Then you bring in Chris Paul, future Hall of Famer, 18-9 averages, gets you 2 steals, a bulldog on the defensive end. Now all of a sudden, you're not only getting it done on the offensive end, but you add CP, as I mentioned. Trevor Ariza's still there. Tucker is a really good defender, which is why he's in the league. Capella defends his position really well and finishes down low. Now you have a team that has the ability to win on both ends of the floor.
I really think that is the difference this year with the Rockets. It's Tucker, it's Luka Mbamute, who should be back from a shoulder injury soon. And you've got Ariza, who's a good defender. And James Harden has always been sort of like not exactly known as a great lockdown defender. But CP3, watching that game last night, it said to myself, I said, I don't think CP3 is the best defender in the league, but here's my question. Is CP3 the most annoying person to have cover you in the league?
No question, especially for a point guard. Here's why. Because usually a guy that can play defense like him doesn't get you 30 points on the other end of the floor. And also, I vividly remember against the Oklahoma City Thunder late in games, CP3 being switched on to one Kevin Durant and playing him really well late in basketball games because the Clippers never got a small forward while he was on their team, which is probably one of the multiple reasons he decided to leave that squad.
So, Jalen, something you always say is, I'm feeling myself. Do it.
Feeling myself.
Well, Clint Capella, I think, is feeling himself maybe a little too much during this Rockets streak. Here's what he said about their matchup with the Warriors. Quote,
"Get on the Warriors?
We have to keep the advantage on them by leading the Western Conference. It's going to be key for us to have home advantage in the playoffs. To go over to Oakland is obviously hard. The advantage is going to be key for us." And then he said, I expect to beat them. Jalen, what do you think about Clint saying he expects to beat the Warriors? Should the Warriors be concerned about the Rockets' success?
Well, that's just a competitor and a professional and a peer. I've sat in the locker room many times and said, we're going to thump Mike and Scotty. Shaq and Kobe has no chance. What about Akeem the Dream? I can't wait to get him out on the perimeter and put him in the hezzy. Like, that's just what comes with it. They should be confident. The way they've not only played this year, but people underestimate the fact that Houston's been amongst the top 3 in the Western Conference really the last couple of seasons as James Harden has emerged. Clint Capella has been a part of that resurgence. So I understand where he is coming from. And yes, they are a foe that's going to look the Golden State Warriors eye to eye as the season progresses.
I think that the Rockets are a legitimate threat to the Warriors in the Western Conference. I really think they are, especially when you look at the game playing on Thursday night. No Steph, no Draymond, no Zaza, no Nick Young. The Warriors could have some injury problems and lose to the Rockets in a 7-game series. Let's move on, though. I think the Ball family going to Lithuania is a terrible idea, but there are some people that are very excited about the Ball family going to Lithuania. Do you know who those people are? Lithuanians. Check out this welcome video that they produced for the Ball family.
This video is for Ball family. Lavar Ball, Lamelo Ball, Liangelo Ball, and Manute Ball. Jello, bro. We're sorry, in Priene we don't have Louis Vuitton. That will be easier for you to concentrate for basketball. Everybody say that in Priene nobody speaks English. That's not true. Excuse me? Do you speak English?
No.
In case you'll be lonely, you can climb this beautiful mountain and shout.
I wanna go home!
Do you think this video makes the Balls more excited to go to Lithuania or not want to get on the plane?
They're going regardless. They signed a contract. The things I'm more worried about are the instances that you brought me behind the curtain and enlightened me to. Is the fact that the team's in last place, the coach doesn't speak English, they barely have a place to practice. When you're low on funds and a team signs you to a deal, you could show up one day and they're like, we don't have a check for you. So that's what I'm more worried about than this video, which, as you also acknowledge, you could be mean, which he was really doing, the Louis Vuitton shot.
Let's be honest.
If you're funny. And it actually was.
Exactly. Well, first of all, I'm surprised that you actually listened to me, because that is rare. But second of all, you weren't really listening to me because I never said they were in last place. They're actually 4-1 and, not doing that bad. Coming up next on Jalen and Jacoby, the Lakers and the Cavs played earlier this evening, but were the Lakers auditioning for LeBron James? That's next. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN2 and ESPN Radio. Jalen Rose, earlier this evening, the Lakers played the Cavaliers in Cleveland. And of course, that meant that people were going to talk about the potential of LeBron James going to the Los Angeles Lakers. Do you believe that the Lakers were auditioning for LeBron James earlier this evening?
Maybe they were, but it's irrelevant because we've already talked about the excellence that's taking place with the Golden State Warriors and how the upstart Houston Rockets have now become a legitimate contender to that crown. We didn't mention the fact that Kawhi Leonard just returned to the San Antonio Spurs for a squad that has seen LaMarcus Aldridge play at an all-star level again. There's no room for the Los Angeles Lakers in that mix based on the players that are on their team. For LeBron James to sign with them and catapult them to the next level, that is not going to be an option moving forward.
And I would say that the Lakers were not auditioning for LeBron James as much as if LeBron James were to go to the Lakers, he's not going alone. So somebody on that team is going to get Andrew Wiggins. If LeBron James does go to the Lakers, he's going to look at someone like Ingram or Randall and say, hey, why don't we package them for a legitimate player, and I'll bring myself and maybe another big free agent, and we can work something out. Is that cool, Magic? And also, as you kind of alluded to, Ramona Shelburne is now reporting that Los Angeles is still in the hunt for a potential LeBron James destination, but is also a long shot. And there was the news earlier this week about the potential of the Rockets. I really think that he will end up on the Cavs or the Rockets next year, don't you?
I don't want to see mercenary LeBron.
Oh, I do.
I truly don't.
I do.
The guy has accomplished so much in his career. Like James Harden, got CP3 to come run with him. Like Russell Westbrook, got Paul George and Carmelo Anthony to come run with him. LeBron James was an individual that started that both ways. Going to Miami to run with Dwayne Wade, now returning to Cleveland and having people come run with him. That's what I would like to see. Isaiah Thomas did just that. Kyrie Irving didn't want to be there anymore. So for LeBron, who's dominated the Eastern Conference, I think he should find a way to not only stay in the East, not go to Philly, not go to another squad, but stay in Cleveland.
Well, something tells me that there'll be a lot of opportunity in the upcoming months for us to talk about the future of LeBron James' career. Now, we'll be talking about the future of Will Smith's career. Will Smith has announced that he is producing a film based on Michael Jordan's sort of storied but not that successful run as a professional baseball player. You were entering the league right around when MJ played baseball. And my question for you is, how excited were NBA players when they found out that Michael Jordan was going to try to play baseball?
I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. It was so many great players in the league at that time that were future Hall of Famers but couldn't get a chip because Michael Jordan kept winning it. There were eras and levels to this in the 80s. Either the Lakers or the Celtics won 8 out of 10 championships. Then later in the decade, the Bad Boy Pistons got their back-to-backs. And then before you know it, the Bulls were ready. MJ was sticking out his chest, Scotty was coming into his prime, and before you know it, they went 3 straight. And then he goes to play baseball.
Everyone's like, wait, he's going to play baseball? Like Michael Jordan's going to play baseball?
People were scrambling. David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler, Reggie Miller, Mitch Richmond. So many Hall of Famers like, this is my chance to get a chip.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is not necessarily the reason why the Houston Rockets won the championship.
Yes, it is.
But
Yes,
I
it is.
give them credit because they won the first one, though he came back later in that year. But then they followed it up with the second one. That's why I can't agree with your statement.
So you always talk about players' lost tape years. You know, you always talk about that. So here's my question for you is, do you think the Wizard stint or the baseball stint are Michael Jordan's lost tape years?
Wizards, no doubt about it. Because if he doesn't go play baseball, I can't with a straight face say that they would have won 8 straight championships because that's just insane. But
tell
what
Bill
I
Russell,
will
tell Bill
say
Russell that.
is the game would look a lot different had he not tried to make that transition.
Absolutely. Well, the game in the Eastern Conference would look a lot different if Gordon Hayward came back to the Celtics. Gordon Hayward is now without the walking boot, and that leads to some people speculating about his potential return, not for next season as we originally thought, but for this season. Jalen, do you believe it would be intelligent for Gordon Hayward to come back this year?
I'm a huge fan. Got a chance to cover him and Coach Brad Stevens while they were at Butler. They made back-to-back Final Four runs. I followed his game, and you know that's been one of my guys. With that being said, the gentleman shattered his leg. Can everybody fall back? I don't anticipate that he's going to play basketball this year, and that's just fine. I'm not complaining about it at all. Let him come back next year and get a full training camp, a full summer, a full training camp, and ease his way back in. We're not throwing him out there at Game 4 of the playoffs.
See, I totally agree with you. I would never, ever just want Gordon Hayward to come back in the second round of the playoffs or whatever. However, I've put a deadline on this, and it is March 25th. They play the Kings that night. If he plays March 25th, that would give him 10 games of regular season warm-up before the playoffs. Like, would you think that would be a proper amount to come back? Like, that would be an accurate time to sort of set the deadline?
Absolutely, because after you do this grueling rehab that he's going to endure, if the player is able to go, you want him to be able to compete and play basketball. That's the reward.
Jalen, are you impressed that I did some research?
I was surprised when the word research came out of your mouth. I looked twice to see if that was actually you. You notice Jalen and Jacoby, not Sports Nation.
No, I do so much more prepreparation for Sports Nation than I do for this show. I think that's what makes this show good, though. At least that's what I'm telling myself every night when I go to bed.
You wear a blazer, you got a haircut, looking handsome. Look how you show up at our program.
I'm just trying to keep the flavor of our program organic and genuine. Coming up next on Jalen and Jacoby, Kyrie Irving wore a shoe with Jalen's favorite food all over it. We'll show you that next. King Louie the lobster is a 23-pound lobster, estimated to be 100 years old. Well, this lobster is getting famous. There's a woman who said, you know what? King Louie needs to reign freely over the ocean waters. So this woman bought this lobster, and she intends to free King Louie. If you had the option to free or eat King Louie, which would you do?
Is this a trick question?
Nope.
King Louie getting on that grill.
Sorry, King Louie. The grill's hot. I'm hungry. King Louie, I know you're the king and everything, but you're about to get beheaded. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, it's time to play soft move or boss move. The Jets' Jeremy Curley was suspended because he had a tainted urine sample. When asked about how his urine sample became tainted, on Twitter, he offered up this explanation. He said, quote, asked how a tainted supplement get in his system, Jeremy Curley said, I don't know. A lot of ghosts around here. Ghosts put it in. You know, the ghosts of Christmas past. Jalen Rose, soft move or boss move? Blaming your positive test on a ghost.
That's a soft move. But I want to offer a personal remedy. I'm not encouraging this for young people.
Oh, no.
I'm not encouraging this for athletes in any way, shape, or form.
Whatever you're about to say, you should reconsider.
In particular, football players.
Oh, no.
Listen up really closely.
Oh, no.
For those that compete in combat sports, in particular, boxing, MMA, and football. Nobody actually cares if you fail a test for PEDs. You know why? When we watch you guys play, we like, man, it takes a lot to want to do that for a living. A physical pounding, emotionally, psychologically. And if you get suspended 5 games for taking something, or 10 games, we don't remember. It doesn't matter. It's going to cost you a check. But at the same time, it's going to give me 10 more years or 5 more years or even 5 more games or 5 more fights. I do it.
Here's my thing. If you blame your failed test on a ghost, if I'm the league, I'm like, we got to test him again. We got to test him again. That doesn't make any sense. That's a failed test. I think it's a failed test about a failed test, to be honest with you. Next, Kyrie Irving came back from the second half of Wednesday night game wearing a different pair of sneakers in the first half, except this pair of sneakers, as you can see, was adorned with little pink bubbles. What are those pink bubbles? Those are lobsters. Jalen, he had a pair of sneakers with lobsters all over them. We all know how much you love lobsters. We all know how much you love lobsters. Soft move or boss move, wearing shoes with lobster polka dots.
1,000% the ultimate boss move. Kai, holla at your boy. Like yourself, fellow JRLA supporter, those kicks are fly. Size 15. You know.
He had you until you said size 15. He was like, all right, we're good. Yeah, I'll get him a pair. Size 15. Oh, no, I'm not going to be able to do it. Next, Rand Gerber, one of George Clooney's closest friends, was having a chat with MSNBC's headliners when he said that George Clooney gifted everyone in his inner circle, which is 14 people. He said he gifted them all about $1 million apiece. Is that a boss move or is that a sketchy move?
There will be people based on the climate of what's taking place in Hollywood and in entertainment that probably is going to try to go behind the curtain and see if he's trying to pay some people off as hush money or whatnot. It just makes me feel like, man, I got the wrong friends.
Yeah, I'm not giving. I was thinking about getting you maybe a sweatshirt or something. You know what I mean? But $1 million, I'd be like, George, really? George, what do you? Nothing's free in the world, George. What do you need me to do? What do you need me to do, George? Something tells me this isn't free. Like, you know, George is gonna hit him up next year and be like, oh, remember that $1 million I gave you last year? Well, this year I'm gonna need a little something from you. So
yeah,
we'll see.
because you don't just give away that kind of scratch.
Next, Marcus Mariota started off his media availability by apologizing for being rude to the media on Sunday and said he had to apologize because his mom made him apologize. Listening to your mom, soft move or boss move?
Fellow mama's boy, boss move. No question about it. And the great thing about this story is the optics of a starting NFL quarterback, an amazing athlete, but understands that mom will still slap the taste out of your mouth.
I love it so much. I love it so much. Because here's the thing is, you know what? Not too many people will watch your entire press conference after the game if you're Marcus Mariota, but your mom will. You know, my mom watches this show all the time. And if I say something, I'll get a text or something. Like, moms will watch your stuff. My wife has never seen the show. Maybe once when it first started. But moms will ride or die for you. Shout to all the mama boys out there. Marcus Mariota, that is a boss move for sure.
And shout out to my mom, Jeannie Rose,
yes,
who made the name Jalen legendary.
Sure did. Shout out to Jeannie Rose. Finally, Jalen, this is your Michigan Wolverines. The University of Michigan, at a silent auction, tried to auction off game-worn Jim Harbaugh khakis with the pleats and all, little signature on the pocket, framed with a picture of him right there. The problem is the starting bid was $900, and no one bought them. Soft move or boss move, trying to sell some used pants.
It's a boss move to try to do anything for charity. The problem is there's a miscalculation. Once clothes are worn, people usually don't want them. That's basically what this sounds like to me. However, it gave me an idea for JRLA.
Uh-oh.
Maybe I need to frame my draft suit and auction that off.
Ooh, that would go for a lot. That would go for a lot. If you frame the draft suit, we got to put it up in the studio. We got to put it up in the studio if you frame the draft suit. But here's another thing. It's like, if it was a jersey, that kind of looks cool in the man cave or whatever. But, like, I don't want to see a pair of khakis on the wall in the man cave. You know, it's like, I think we might have to retire the term man cave, too. I'm just throwing that out there. That might be another one that we have to retire. But you know what? The pants just don't look good framed. A jersey does, colors, numbers, got a name on it. But I don't want to see someone else's used pants on there with, they're signed pants. Like, it's just a pair of pants from Costco, man.
And also, like, not only is it a pair of pants, but it's game worn.
Game-worn pants. We'll be back tomorrow on Jalen Jacoby on ESPN2.
Thank you.
You got to give the people.